And welcome back, everybody, to a fully intact show where I'm back. I gotta say, I'm Jay Black, by the way, joined as always by Rhea Hughes and Angelo Cataldi. And last week, every time I'm not on the show, I listen to you guys. And my God, is it such a good show without me? You guys do such a
No,
good job.
No.
I
I am
don't like doing it. I'm happy you're back. I like being, a sidekick. I think it's more fun.
Well, I just got
Yes.
to say, if you guys out there listening are a fan of the way broadcasting should be done, go listen to episode 135 and listen to a collective 100 years of broadcasting
Yes.
experience in one spot, bouncing off of one another. It was just a pleasure to listen to. But listen, we got a lot to jump into this week. And this one pains me to say because my particular crush this year on SNL is the very weird, very funny, very interesting Sarah Shermer on SNL. She is my crush. I think she's great. Huge fan of hers, but she is embroiled, ladies and gentlemen, in a controversy because last week they did a spoof of the White Lotus called the White Lotus, where they're making fun of Donald Trump. I thought it was kind of a lame idea for a sketch. Seemed like they sort of came up with the idea first and then worked backwards from there. But during this sketch, Sarah Shermer shows up for like 2 seconds as Aimee Lou Woods. Is that her name? Did I get that right?
Yes. Aimee Lou Wood.
Aimee Lou Wood as well, just basically the entire joke is, "Hey, look at my buck teeth." That's the entirety of the joke. Caused a controversy. People were talking about it all week. They interviewed Aimee, and she came out and said, "I thought this was unfunny and mean." And I just wanted to ask your opinion on this. Where do you stand on this joke? Was it unfunny and mean? And where is the line, Rhea, when it comes to making jokes about people?
So I have a uniquely interesting take on this for two reasons. I'll start with the first one because obviously I'm the British correspondent. The British are very unhappy about this. The headline in the London Evening Standard was the cruel and unamusing Aimee Lee Wood sketch on SNL reveals something odd about America. And they went into this whole thing that the skit basically involving Aimee was that we have a weird accent and the British have bad teeth. And, so they went on to say Aimee Lee Wood's teeth must be protected at all costs. She's a young, tremendous actress
Yeah.
who has been open about, her struggles with body image, obviously in Hollywood and all that stuff. And she did an interview with GQ where she said she was told that Mike Wood is or Mike White, I'm sorry,
Like
Mike
White,
White,
yep.
the showrunner, had to fight to get her on that episode of, obviously one of the biggest hits right now. And in her mind, she said he had to fight for me because he had to fight for the ugly girl.
Which is
So,
ridiculous. She's not ugly. It's just a shot.
Angelo talked a couple of weeks ago about how attractive he finds her, but so like she's been open about her body image things. This is not a secret in Hollywood. So for SNL to go after her, knowing all this kind of backstory, but my second part, and Angelo, you may or may not remember this. I felt for her because I experienced something similar to it, not on a global level. We all went to a comedy show. Like our morning show promoted it. There were hundreds of people there. I was there with colleagues, with peers in the business, listeners, and a comic was up there, and it felt like a premeditated attack. But he went after me, my looks, that I was ugly, and specifically my teeth. So, and you guys know I'm going through, by this summer, 5 years in, Aimee Lee Wood, never change your teeth. It'll be a process you'll regret, which I do. But this guy went after me so bad, like the fifth time he did it, I left the venue in tears. And it was, it was just, if had been done one time, I go, screw it, whatever. But it was clear, even though I was just an audience member, that I had become a target. And so where I felt for Aimee Lee Wood on this, I'm in radio. What I look like is absolutely irrelevant. Okay. Aimee Lee Wood has to get cast by directors, producers who now have to wonder, will her teeth become something the audience focus on and not the character she's playing? This could be real damaging to her career. And I felt for her, like on a real visceral level for her.
Such a shame. And by the way, Angela, I'm trying to track down who this comic was because I'm going to use whatever power I have in the industry to blackball that guy. I can't believe that. Where do you stand on it, Angela? What are your thoughts?
I vaguely remember this, but my brain doesn't,
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. But here's what I could say. First of all, the whole attack on Rhea is ludicrous. Look at her. I mean, she may be in radio. This is a very beautiful woman, inside and out. All right. So that whole thing is ridiculous. I have an entirely different take because I told you I find this woman very appealing, Aimee Lou Wood, and I have seen her both in White Lotus, which she was spectacular in, and Toxic Town, which she is also great in. She is a terrific actress. And yes, her teeth are a focal point. It's also part of who she is.
Yeah.
And she has embraced it. She needs to I have a theory. This is just, I think differently now because of social media. I don't actually think she was insulted. I'm going to tell you why. She has spoken so openly about this for so long. Yeah, I can get that she's tired of talking about it, but it's her calling card, whether she likes it or not. I think by having a negative reaction to it, it gives new life to it and makes her center stage for a longer period of time. That's good for her career. I don't think this will hurt her career in any way. And I don't, it's different with guys, all right? I have been made fun of for decades because of my huge schnoz and all those. Pete Jones, almost every show called me ugly, all right?
Yeah.
And it became kind of a badge of honor, all right? The fact of the matter is, if you are in the public eye, people are going to take shots at you, no matter what. Even in radio, they're going to do it. And just every once in a while, glance at your paycheck and go, well, that's part of it. They're paying for that too. That's part of the job description. And that's all it is. And I think everything's fair game. You know this better than anyone, Jaya. Are there things that you will not discuss? Will you not discuss people's appearances in your comedy shows?
So when I'm on stage, I tend to not, I would never pick on somebody's appearance unless it was a shared kind of like, if someone's wearing a weird shirt or a bad hat, that's something that like, they obviously wore that knowing that there would be some sort of interaction. I prefer shared joy than shared misery, even if it's funny shared misery. I will say this. I think two things. One, Angela, you're kind of right that it did shift the focus. Because if you remember, up until Sarah Shermer put the teeth on, everybody was talking about her affair with Walton Goggins. No one's talking about that now. So that's kind of positive for her. But the second thing is, just from a joke point of view, I was disappointed because I think Sarah Sherman is a unique comic voice. She is very funny and very creative. This is like a Dolly Parton boob joke. Like this is like a lazy joke that anybody could have made. I just from a comedic point of view, you can do better than that. Like even if you want to talk about her teeth, find an interesting way in on the teeth and say like she did it on purpose to get this attention. Whatever. Anything's better than putting on an Austin Powers tooth apparatus and going, look at my teeth. That's just kind of late.
And one final thing I'll say it from the British thing. I've said to you guys all along, one of the things I love about British television is the people who are the actors and actresses are not beauty queens and, Mr. America. They're regular looking people. And, so in England, she's considered this bright rising star, and it's not because she's an ingenue or a classic beauty. That's kind of what they do over there in England. So they were very offended by the whole thing.
I do like that
they should grow up. Number one is they do have bad teeth. I'm sorry to break the news to them. And here's one other thing, and Rhea, this is going to come as a shock to you.
Yes.
I enjoyed the entire spoof on SNL. I think it's been a weak season. I know we've gotten a lot of feedback that it hasn't been, but to me it has been. I really enjoy ridicule humor, right? When when Joan Rivers would attack Elizabeth Taylor for being fat, I loved it. Understand? Anthony Jeselnik has proven that you can tackle any controversial topic or anything that you want, and if it's funny enough, you'll still live.
But
You'll
that's the
survive.
point, Ange. If it's funny, it's got to be
Yeah,
funny. I
I
didn't
thought it
find
was
that
funny.
bit very funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny, but I
So
like ridicule.
we haven't talked much about the Pitt. You guys touched on it last week. The Pitt, brand new show on HBO Max, just got set up for a second season. It's a huge hit, guys. It was averaging, Angelo, 10 million viewers
Wow.
episode. In today's world, that's like MASH finale numbers. I mean, 10 million
Yes.
an insane amount of people watching it. There is a lawsuit that is coming out from the estate of Michael Crichton about this show. Because if you remember, the main character, Noah Wiley, who, by the way, I worked on a script with back in the day. I got to talk to Noah, very nice guy. The script never went anywhere, but I found him to be a lovely person. Noah Wiley was a person that was a big star on ER. Now he's back 20 years later. He's a big star with the #1 new TV show in America, The Pitt. Michael Crichton's estate, the guy who created ER, is saying this is a blatant knockoff of ER. But before we start to shake our heads, something we should know about, Noah Wiley and the other creator of the show have been going around pitching a reboot of ER that went nowhere. So then they went back, they retooled, and now here's The Pitt. So I do think that this is not a left field lawsuit if they were thinking about this as a sequel to ER, and it's been retooled. Angela, I see you shaking your head. Do you agree with Noah Wiley, or do you agree with the estate of Michael Crichton here?
I am nauseated by this lawsuit. All right. First of all, Michael Crichton's widow is not rich enough. How much she's getting every time the mailman comes from all the royalties from all of his best sellers. She needs another cut. That's not enough. Secondly, I already said last week, I won't watch The Pitt. It's too graphic. It's disgusting to me.
Yeah.
But it's a hospital drama featuring Noah Wiley. Yeah, that's the similarity. Where's the rest of it? Noah Wiley can never play a doctor again? Because the last time he played a doctor, that wiped it out for him? No. The whole thing is
I completely disagree with Angelo.
Oh, jeez.
I love this. I love when you guys fight.
Well, and I'm going to, Angelo, so I actually took the time to read some of the lawsuit. I actually, as Angelo, you know, I do homework. So there were two things in the lawsuit. First of all, when Michael Crichton created ER, he put in a frozen clause that, you know, no reboots, no one could ever be done without permission by him. Obviously, he's dead. He's got to get it. But it's not that. The thing that got me in the lawsuit was you can't use the same director, the same producer, the same showrunner, the same star. Like everything is the same except for the permission. So I like, to me, it was very clear they wanted to do a reboot. They wouldn't give permission. And so they basically kind of did a workaround. This isn't like any other thing. Like Jay, you had said, How I Met My Mother came from Friends. Right. They're using basically every same person who worked on ER and the same one of the stars. So to me, I think they got a case.
Yeah,
I'm not watching it, and I'm not reading the documents either. Rhea, you need a hobby or something. Seriously, you read the legal papers? God bless you. I'm retired. I have better things to do than that.
Yeah. Rhea, if we paid any money, we give you a raise. That's
thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's talk documentaries here, because I watched a documentary and I was going to review it. I'll give you a quick review of it. I saw a documentary called Bad Influence: The Dark Side of Kidfluencing. And essentially it's about another one of these YouTube families that got real wealthy, and the kids involved were treated miserably because of course they are. I didn't need 3 episodes and 6 hours to tell me this. I sort of figured it out in minute 8 that it's not going to go in a good direction. So it's a really interesting 90 minutes put together over 6 hours. That is my review. It's padded. Especially the last episode, they just keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. And it doesn't matter how much dramatic music you put underneath it. If it's the same thing I've heard 5 times in a row, it's not dramatic. So it got me thinking about that. We do live in an age of documentaries a golden age of documentaries. We're getting more and more variety of documentaries that we've ever gotten. But I do think that the needs of streamers, which is to have engagement where you keep coming back and back, has turned the format from a good 90-minute single documentary into series that don't need to be series. So, Rhea, I want to start with you. What do you think about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And where do you stand?
I do, because so I texted Angelo over the weekend. I said, hey, I'm watching this really interesting documentary on Netflix called The Keepers, about a murder of a Catholic nun in 1969. He said he tried to watch it, didn't like it, but I liked it. But the problem is it was 7 episodes. It should have been 4. And they just the same thing. It kind of, at some points I'm like, wow, it's going over here, it's going over there. So although I enjoyed it, it's like the way you did it. There was about 3.5 hours of the documentary that it could have been perfect in. On the flip side, a documentary I watched a couple of years ago, and I know I reviewed it on here, the Alpine 1982, the Alpine Meadows avalanche that killed like a lot of people. It was 90 minutes. And it's one of the best documentaries ever. It's got a twist in it, people. I'm telling you, about 3/4 of the way in, that blew my mind, but it was perfect. It was 96 minutes and it told the story, and it didn't retell stuff all the time. That's the problem, is they try to flesh it out with too much. And I agree with you on that, Jay.
Angela, I know you're a big fan of documentaries. Where do you stand on it?
Yeah. First of all, Rhea, could you find out where that's watchable now so we can promote it at the end?
Sure.
Because it sounds like something people, especially in this era of bloated documentary series. Do you know, Jay, it's 10 years. It's the 10th anniversary is coming up on, to me, the documentary series that created the overflowing documentary series, Making a Murder, right?
Yeah.
Which was really interesting, but 10 episodes.
Right.
And if you go back and look at that, it's just, there's a lot of redundancy. It could have been 5, right? Then it was so successful. That was on Netflix, I believe. It was so successful. They did a whole next one that was even more stretched out to try to make it. And I think the success of Making a Murder made all these other ones say, well, we can't do 2 episodes. Let's do 7. Let's do 4, even though we could tell the story in 3. And that keeps happening. Rhea had this Alpine one, which sounds really good.
By the way, Angelo, it's on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Fandango. You can find it anywhere.
All right, great. But I remember still the Michael J. Fox thing was under 2 hours. Was so compelling. They could have stretched that to 8 hours. It wouldn't have been as good. This is more evidence that documentaries, that basically the template now for documentaries are stretch them as far as you can to provide programming to the streamer. And it's what, remember how you used to have, I got to do a movie and it can't be over 2 hours. So they really condense everything. Now the opposite is happening. Streamers have all this space to present to people stuff, and it's overdone. And there's got to be a happy medium. And I think the English get it right most of the time. I'm not sure. I think The Keepers might have been one of the Rhea. I don't know.
The Keepers, because it's based in Baltimore. But it was too long. It was 7 episodes on Netflix. I found it interesting because I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so I was kind of fascinated by it.
I always think of
the English almost never have 10 episodes.
Oh, no.
Because you don't need it. No story requires all that time. So condense it a little and make it more impactful.
One of my favorite documentaries of all time is the Paradise Lost trilogy. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's available on Max. It's about a group of kids who confessed to a murder, but wound up being innocent down in the South. They were considered to be Satanists and all this stuff. Anyway,
oh God.
It's 3 movies that they produced over the course of 18 years. They kept going back every 10 years to see where things stood. It's 6 hours long. That it tells a story over 18 years. If this were produced today, it would be 784 episodes. Netflix would have a spin-off for this. Anyhow, I'll tell you one thing that never goes too long. That's our love for our sponsor, Steven Singer. You can't get enough of Steven Singer, right, Angelo? Tell me about him.
Yes, I'm in a very awkward position today because it's a huge day in my house. It is
I
the
know what today
birthday.
is.
It's that you know that you do,
I,
huh?
I do.
It's my wife's birthday. It's
Happy
a big
birthday.
one. I'm not saying what it is. It has a 6 in it, but there's some other number after that. Anyway, here's what I'll say. All right. Um, uh, if you need a great gift for a big occasion, there is nowhere you should ever think to go but Steven Singer Jewelers. Why? I'll tell you why. Because first of all, if you're like me, you have no idea about jewelry. You don't have to know anything. You just know bracelet, necklace, ring, whatever it is, and you go in and you present it to the people who represent Steven Singer, and you also tell them around the price range. Your work is done. At that point, they will find you something that is great, that is fairly priced, and that will win over the recipient every single time. So I say, happy birthday to Gail. Later today, you'll find out what I got.
Very nice.
And I just want to say this about Steven Singer. So, we were talking about teeth earlier, and I've been going through. I have one more surgery left. So I said to Clark the other day, I said, listen, my last surgery is on May 12th. So I will not be able to chew food for 3 weeks after that. So the day
Ooh.
before is Mother's Day is coming up. I said, I want you to take me out to a great restaurant because I'm going to eat my face off. And he goes, well, you do know I have an account at Steven Singer. So I was thinking of a trinket. And I go, trinket and food. But literally, my kid said that to me. He goes, I have an account. He's 15. I got it, when he had the girlfriend. So I already think I'm
Wow.
getting something from there for Mother's Day. So I'm excited.
And Sarah
Wow.
Sherber, if you're listening, get Aimee Lou Woods something from Steven Singer. Let's make this whole thing go away. Get her something
Yes.
nice.
Quarter of 8th and Walnut. I hate StevenSinger.com. Nobody does it as well as Steven.
Thank you very much. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Steven Singer, for sponsoring us. Now, let's talk about the one thing everybody waits for, which is our British TV segment from Rhea Hughes. What do you got for us this week, Rhea?
So it's not British, but it is in the Commonwealth. As you know, it's Australian. So it's called The Last Anniversary. It is available on AMC and Sundance. 6 episodes, produced by the same woman who gave us Big Little Lies, Nicole Kidman. Shockingly, she doesn't act in this one, although she acts in everything. So basically, it's kind of interesting. It's this woman, Sophie. She's a 39-year-old, very attractive woman, inherits a home on this island. It's a fictional island off of Sydney, Australia. And she inherits it not from family members, but from the grandmother of an ex-boyfriend of hers, because apparently the grandmother really liked her. So, but obviously the family's very unhappy about it because the island is famous among true crime tourists. There's actually a true crime tourism industry, believe it or not. So this island, 50 years ago, it featured these parents disappeared, leaving a little infant in the house. They never found out what happened to the parents. Child was raised, and they've turned their small little island into a cottage industry for tourism mystery. So all these women come together, this family. It's got an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes. Here's what I will tell you. I'm 3 episodes in, so it's 6 episodes. It has not grabbed me yet. It has moments, but to me, if I'm 3 episodes in and I haven't been grabbed yet, now I'm going to finish watching it, so I'll let you guys know next week if I like it. It's taken too long to set everything up. So that's my biggest problem with it. Reviews are phenomenal on it. I'm not there yet. I don't dislike it. I'm just not grabbed yet. Last Anniversary on AMC and Sundance.
And one thing I'll say, Rhea, is last night I was on Steve Trevelyan's radio show on NJ 1015, and a woman called in with an Australian accent from Tom's River. And I asked her, why do you sound like that? And you're in Tom's River. And she replied that she was on holiday. And I just want to say,
Tom's River?
Yeah, whatever travel agency you're using, Australian people, if you are listening, don't buy the Tom's River package. There's no
But
reason.
hold on. My shore house is only about 40 minutes from Tom's River, and there's a nice coastline, but it's been chilly. So correct. You should have gone further south.
Yeah, go somewhere a little bit nicer. That's all I'm going to say. Do you have anything
I
teen?
do.
Yeah.
I do. So it's so cool. Clark decided to watch the first three seasons of Ted Lasso. He hadn't seen it. So he's gotten through the first two. And he's watching it in the sunroom. I was trying to clean and do stuff on Saturday and Sunday, and I kept sitting down going, God, I love this scene. God, I love this scene. And, I go, I'm not going to get any work done. So we got through two episodes. He absolutely loves it. I have not seen episode 3 either. So we're going to watch it together. But I forgot how great season 1 was. He loves it. Hates Nate, obviously loves Ted Lasso, loves Roy Kent. But he absolutely a massive, huge fan of Ted Lasso on Apple TV. And that's a different because I think Jason Sudeikis, is that how you pronounce his last name? Sudeikis is American. It's 10 episodes. If it was truly British, it would be lower than that. But I forgot how great it is. So I watched a little bit with him, but he loves it. We're going to watch season 3 together.
I'll scroll TikTok sometimes, and the dart scene will come up at least once a week, and I watch the dart scene every time. Every time I'll watch it.
I've probably seen it 100 times.
Yeah, it's great. I know you're not a fan of Ted Lasso, Angelo, so we'll just we'll put a pin in this for later. We'll put a dart in it for later, Rhea. Yeah. What do you got for us this week, Angelo?
Well, it's funny that Rhea would say that she rediscovered Ted Lasso. I rediscovered Mad Men, not Mad Men, but a new version, another great role for John Hamm. And I forgot how much I loved him in Mad Men. And he's done a lot of other very good stuff. He extremely versatile. He can do comedy, he can do everything. And he was really good in Fargo. The last season of Fargo, he was great in. But he is spectacular. He is Don Draper again in Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple Plus. Oh, this is really good. I got to tell you. What's great about it is he's this rich guy whose life falls apart. Everything goes bad, right? And he doesn't know how to keep his lifestyle going. And he realizes he lives around all these rich people, and they are so rich they don't even know what they own anymore. And he will steal stuff from them that they wouldn't miss, and then hawk it and continue his lifestyle. What a great premise for a show. And to tell you that he doesn't nail it, he's spectacular in it. And the people around him, Jay, Corbin Burnson. Wonderful. I haven't seen him in anything good since L.A. Law. What was that, 30 years ago?
Yep.
Corbin Burnson,
I guess. But Corbin Burnson, now bald, you would probably not even recognize, is just such an awesome, terrible person. Yep. He's an awful guy. Amanda Peet, Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Right? Amanda Peet, the ex-wife. Olivia Munn is the one that John Hamm's characters sleep with now. It's got everything. It's terrific. They've only dropped 2 episodes. I love them both. It's on Apple. Check it out. And one other thing, just a reminder to people, because it did drop last week, Black Mirror, season 7 on Netflix is out. I saw the first couple. I'll review it more in the next week or so. It's terrific. That's one of my all-time favorites. It's Twilight Zone for the tech age. And it's fantastic.
Angelo,
there's a lot of good stuff right now. Wow, a lot of good stuff.
I got 2 follow-ups for you, Angelo, real fast. The second episode of Black Mirror is the Bête Noire one, where it's the Mandela effect. I don't know if you know this. They filmed different scenes for that. So half the people watching Netflix get different details wrong. No. The other half the details reversed. So the people watching will have the same Mandela effect as in the show. So you might be talking to somebody about it and say, because there's one where she's trying to remember where she worked. It was like either Baxter's or Baker's. Yeah. In half the episode, she worked at Baxter's. In the other half of the episode, she worked at Baker's. I love stuff like that. I think that stuff is amazing. So it's them playing with the format in a way that you can't do on network TV. Big fan of that. And the second thing I'll say is I also saw Your Friends and Neighbors. I agree 100%. John Hamm is a spectacular talent. And the second thing is, if you want to see what a budget does for a show, this thing looks like it costs $40 million an episode because of this, the cast, the acting, the sets. It's amazing. Money can't buy you quality, but once you have quality, money can make it look better.
Yes.
Great show.
Great.
All right, Angelo,
really
what we
good
talk
show.
about this week? What do we got?
Oh my God, this could take a minute. If you want to watch SNL, including the controversial spoof with Aimee Lou Wood, you could see that. And Peacock, White Lotus, which they based it on, that's on Max. The Pitt is on Max also. ER, if you want to compare it, Rhea said they have a good case here. Check out the original on Hulu. Bad Influence, the show that Jay was talking about, the documentary, that's on Netflix. Making a Murder is what started the whole thing. That's on Netflix. Ted Lasso, which Clark loves, that's on Apple Plus. Last Anniversary is on AMC. Rhea, the Alpine, what's the name of the full name of the Alpine show?
It's the 1982 Alpine Meadows Avalanche, Netflix, Amazon, Apple, and Fandango. Also, Ange, Last Anniversary is available on Sundance as well.
Okay, great. And still, what I said was an example of a good documentary told in one story. That's on Apple Plus. Your Friends and Neighbors also on Apple Plus. And check out Black Mirror Season 7 on Netflix. What a week. Wow.
What a week. Make sure you check out Angelo Cataldi's book, Loud, which you can get on Amazon.com, Audible.com, or AngeloCataldi.com. Make sure you watch Rhea Hughes every day on YouTube. You can see her radio show streamed live every single day. Make sure you never go to a show that dumb comedian who made fun of Rhea is performing at. And also check out my movie Tenants, which is currently on Tubi, Tubi, Tenants.
I want you to know I streamed it over the weekend. So the $5 you get, that's for me.
That's,
I just left it on one of the TVs.
This Big Mac right here, this big gulp right here. Rhea Hughes bought this for me. Thank you, Rhea. And guys, make sure you check out our sponsor, StevenSinger.com. And we'll be back next week with even more great TV talk.